Welcome to the Retail Journey Podcast. I'm one of your hosts, Charles Greathouse.
And I'm James Harris, and today we're talking to Joe Murphy. Joe is the founder of ShelfSight, and ShelfSight is provides a digital shelf scorecard for product item pages to optimize SEO, amongst other services.
Absolutely.
How you doing,
guys?
Joe?
I'm doing well. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely.
Welcome, Joe Murphy, the man, the myth, the legend.
Oh, wow. That's a lot to live up to.
Yeah. Tell us about it. I mean, introduce yourself. I'd love to hear a little bit about your retail journey thus far before we get to retail, just the man that is Joe Murphy.
Sure. Yeah. It's been my whole life since college. So came out of school, worked as an analyst starting off, moved into sales.
I like it.
Here in Northwest Arkansas. Realized sales was not for me. I liked the data. So found myself at a small startup here, Collective Bias, so influencer marketing, and went from an analyst role into a product role, so working with engineers, and really got to figure out that I liked the building side of things. So working with an engineering team, building out solutions, and kind of stayed in a product role for the last 10 years after that.
And your role was kind of guiding the engineers?
Yeah, absolutely. Taking business requirements, general like product ownership, similar to what you did at Walmart.
Yeah.
Charles.
Totally. Innovating with technology. I think some would compare you to Elon Musk. If we could roll the tape on the YouTube video of electric vehicles before it was cool.
Oh yeah.
I don't know if we have that. If we can link it in the show notes, we're going to link it. But Joe has how many views on this YouTube video?
There's like 250,000 views.
I mean, big time.
This was 15 years ago, before kids, and before I had hobbies.
Yeah.
So
homemade
I was just building
bike.
electric vehicles in the basement.
No kidding.
Yeah. It only caught on fire twice.
I think an entire industry has come from that inspiring video.
That's right.
I hope we find the link. We need to link it below. You're welcome for that. Hopefully 260,000 views coming soon.
Bring them on.
Sorry for the brief aside, but yeah, always interested in innovating and solving problems in new and meaningful ways, from the fun, bikes.
Yeah, absolutely. So I fell in love with product ownership at that point.
And as a startup, product ownership that's the value prop of the startup ownership.
Totally. Yeah. You get to build the value. You get to talk to the clients every day. You get to see where their needs are and then go work with the engineering team, designers to build those things out.
Yeah. That's an untraditional route to product, right? To go through sales.
Not traditional at all.
It's something that I don't think it's unique to Northwest Arkansas or even the Walmart market, but getting into sales is the goal for so many people starting out.
Yeah.
And just with the assumption that that's where I'm supposed to be.
Right.
And it just isn't always.
That was the path. The analyst working there and then work under a sales leadership and then move into sales. But I quickly realized it wasn't for me after buyer turnover every 3 months. So moved back to the tech side of things. And that's where I found myself for the last really 10, 15 years.
Awesome. ShelfSight.
Yeah. So ShelfSight was born out of just a need for more measurement opportunities for PDPs, so product listing pages, product display pages on Walmart. A lot of the content that we worked on over the last really 10 years has been offsite media.
Yeah.
And you have things that you don't necessarily have on a PDP, like Google Analytics.
Yeah.
Ways to measure things that aren't always measurable for Walmart suppliers. And so part of that is bringing more measurement opportunity to the PDP, and hopefully improving the media performance that you're sending to those landing pages as well. As on the entire internet, everybody can measure who's coming to my page, where they're coming from, how my page is ranking on Google, and how long the user's staying and what they're doing and who's adding what to cart. Not all of those things exist on Walmart and are slowly coming online. So we're there to kind of help bridge that gap as those things continue to evolve.
I love that. I mean, you say you can measure that, but you say that from I have technical skills and can build technology that allows me to do that. So excited to see that come to life and bring measurement to things that matter.
Yeah, and I think there's a lot of new innovation on the Walmart side of things as well with the digital landscapes report that came out in Illuminate. So that is essentially Google Analytics for your product page.
Right.
Yeah.
But there's still things that are missing from there. So it's kind of a combination of those two things that I think can really help some suppliers.
Oh, cool.
So does ShelfSight, is it a plugin?
No, it's
Or it
actually a
just reads the
platform.
page?
Yeah, so it's actually reading everything from search results. So where do I rank today in my search versus tomorrow for any given keyword? How do I compare it to my competitors? So ratings, reviews, how are those things trending over time? It's all of the things that bridge the gap from Walmart providing me a content score to that digital landscape report. There's still a lot of missing gray area in there, kind of bringing that together for clients so that they can have a more informed digital strategy when it comes to growing their online sales.
Awesome.
Is the focus more organic traffic versus paid for?
I think it's a combination of two. Like you want to extract as much out of the organic results as you can. Just like it's been the truth for Google for the last 30 years, right?
Right.
Like I want to rank on that first page of results if I can on my own, and then I want to pay for what I can't rank for. Or in some scenarios, I want to have more brand share of that page, and so I'm willing to pay and rank organically. But I think there's a big challenge for suppliers, especially new suppliers, finding their way onto that first page of search results. And if you're buried on the fourth page, nobody's going to see that. And there's one lever is to pay, and the other lever is to kind of work on that organic rank as well.
Yeah. Yeah, if you're on the fourth page, you don't exist.
Yeah, it's just like the second page of Google. It's like nobody clicks that.
That's sort of my curiosity of how many pages until it's as if it wasn't there.
Yeah. Well, on Google, it drops off. I don't know the exact stats, but it's actually the first 5 results is like 80% of all the traffic goes to those.
But a little at the bottom, when you get to one of however many, nobody clicks
all the O's
to the right.
Yeah,
right.
That's right.
Yeah.
Nobody's going to that next page unless it's me and I'm trying to collect data.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the only person.
Yeah. Only those in the academic, not those actually trying to buy.
There's somebody checking a dashboard somewhere and they're like, how did they make it to page 16?
Yeah. Yeah. Because they're searching for a client or something like that.
That's exactly right. Yeah.
Yeah.
I know one of the things you're personally focused on, passionate about is landing page.
Yeah.
Talk a little bit.
Yeah.
About
So
that.
I think the PDP is the foundation of your Walmart digital business. And content score has taken us to a point where there's a difference between completeness and effectiveness. And so completeness is I have a title, I have the images, I have the right amount of detail in my description. Those are all completeness. Check a box, yes or no. With the tools that we're building, we're trying to measure effectiveness. So can I increase conversion rates over time? Can I start to do things that are more advanced that have been available for other, any D2C website forever, which is, can I increase conversion rates by A/B testing? So simple A/B testing. Maybe my title is complete, but I would like to change it and see if that has an effect on the number of people that go from the search page to the listing page. Maybe my description can be changed every once in a while, and I can kind of measure the resulting changes. So I think we're getting to a point where that optimization is going to be available for suppliers and something that they're focused on, especially when you want to be as efficient as possible with that media spend. A small change in conversion rate on the landing page makes a big difference in terms of return on ad spend or even organic conversions.
Yeah. When you work with suppliers that started in store, is it a difficult journey to go from, hey, I get an item onto a mod, I have a year at least, typically, maybe it's 6 months until the next iteration of that product placement, all of these things, whereas digitally I can A/B test daily if I so desire. It's just feels like a very different muscle. I'm curious of how that conversation goes. Your thoughts on how you get someone from set it and forget it to this is an optimization journey.
It's all about showing the value and making that as efficient as possible for them over time. Like you said, like it's set it and forget it for a lot of suppliers. I've finished the process. My item score is good.
Yeah.
My content score is good. I'm off the buyer's naughty list.
Yeah.
I'm done.
Although they do, you get that email Monday morning that content score metrics have evolved, which is a good thing because it means, essentially the platform is optimizing to say, okay, here's what we say it takes to be good. and then okay, from there, what's better?
Yeah, and
And
I think a
so
lot of that is long tail product attributes
yeah,
change for product categories. Walmart now has hundreds of product types, and
Mhm.
so each product type has its own list of attributes that are required, and sometimes those change, like you're saying,
yeah,
and now you're missing that data. So I think there's still a learning process to go from I'm done with the thing, I'm oh, I've got new requirements, I'm going to go finish those, to I have an always on page that I can fine tune and watch conversion rates change over time,
yeah,
and really at the end of the day drive an increase in that online sales growth.
yeah.
It's a critical piece of the future at Walmart, online sales growth.
Yeah, I think
It's not the thing you just comply with
yeah,
anymore for
right.
that to be
It's
true.
Not a box to check, so to speak.
no, not a box to check.
It's effectiveness
Yeah,
matters.
yeah,
Mhm.
yeah. So those are the two levels. It's like I get complete, I try to maintain that completeness, and then I move into an effectiveness journey, which is increasing conversion rates. And it's the same playbook you've seen play out at Amazon as well, and
Yeah.
continues to play out. Like there's a lot of focus on that landing page and ability to do some A/B testing and add things like rich media and additional content to help
And it's
change
really a great
conversion
way to
rates.
use your ad budget to not have to run ads.
Yeah,
You
right.
invest in the time and the product to
Yeah,
like discover what some different options, better options could be.
yeah. Like
But
just give them another lever to pull.
you're not
Right,
just pushing somebody to the page that isn't interested.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So I think it's just adding that additional lever of I've got paid media, I've got focus on my content, my content production, and how that's going to change conversion rates over
Yeah.
time.
Well, I feel like it's a major part of what you own as a supplier to Walmart is whether or not you have set up your product to represent itself in the best way possible to customers. Walmart's the platform where people come to find trusted products, high quality, great price, save money, live better, save time. And to deliver on that as a supplier, it used to be just send it in store, maybe have something online. Now the e-commerce platform is such a massive portal to customers for many customers acquired through COVID. It's the primary way you experience Walmart
Mhm.
Yeah.
is via walmart.com. And that is that evolving, constantly iterating, you can't set it and forget it kind of place. And so bringing data to life in a way that shows you, hey, here's what's working, here's what's not, um, to me is a game changer.
Yeah.
If you don't have it, if you're not paying attention, you're not doing your job properly.
Yeah, I look at it as they've given you a playground to do whatever you can to increase your sales online, right?
Mm.
They give you the ability to change all the things with some of the changes with Supplier One and rolling rich media into that platform as well. Like they're giving you a lot of tools.
Yeah.
One of them, even things like brand pages, like you can own more real estate on
Mhm.
Walmart.com than you ever have been able to. And just having access to that traffic and the continued growth there is something that's really powerful for a brand over time. And especially, like you said, we saw all the digital, like the transformation from an in-store shopper to a digital shopper during COVID. We felt that the product we were working on at the time at Rich Context was offsite media. So how do you
Mhm.
drive from social to Walmart? And we got to ride that wave as it was happening. Um, and then you had the advent of like Walmart's retail media really starting to take off and become something that suppliers were really interested in.
Yeah, you've mentioned that a few times. What's the basis right now of rich media with Walmart, and is there any changes coming
Yeah.
in the
So
future?
what we were doing at the time was Amazon has what's called A plus content. So it's
Mhm.
just a section on your item page that you kind of have full rights to design around. And so we were doing that for suppliers at the time. That has gone away and come back in a couple different iterations on Walmart. But I think you're seeing more tools built into Supplier One than you have seen in the past. And I think there's a continued path for that.
Mhm.
So things like being able to bring in social proof for influencers, there's the Walmart Creator Program. I think you'll see that get brought into something that a brand is able to access here in the future,
Mm.
in addition to rich media. So being able to host your videos on there, it's like small things like that. Like it was
Yeah.
hard to get a video or
Yeah.
multiple videos on your product page
Mhm.
up until a year ago on Walmart. So
Right.
I think we'll just see that continued evolution of more points of control for that brand and their presence on Walmart.
Yeah. What I love about it, I mean, optionality is great, but the platform is growing so much that it's all worthwhile investment. Like this is time where this is a place you should be spending time and money because there's a tremendous amount of growth happening via the platform.
Yeah, and you see that from the merchants too, like
Totally.
them asking you,
Mhm.
what are you doing for my digital business, and how are you helping increase that percent of sales?
Well, and
Um,
it's that dynamic that you can't really find in the data is how much research was done on Walmart.com for an in-store purchase.
sure, absolutely.
Because I mean, we know some general numbers, but it really is the primary advertising venue for in-store products.
Sure. Yeah, and you can get at some of that through, as long as you're running a Walmart Connect campaign. There's some
Yeah.
really interesting reporting in there in terms of impressions and people searching for whether it's your branded term or that category.
Mhm.
But it'll be really interesting as Connect and Luminate start to pull closer together if you get to see really
Yeah.
Yeah.
the in-store purchase.
Yeah. But the advancement of the digital landscapes you mentioned,
Yeah.
huge breakthrough. So for those that don't know, tell us about this Luminate product
Yeah,
called Digital
so
Landscapes.
the way I describe it, I might have said it earlier too, is just Google Analytics for your product page on Walmart. So um, it has everything from the big innovation is where is my traffic coming from
Yeah.
and what are they doing on the page. So you used to, in Google Analytics, you have what's called source medium. So what is the source of the traffic? What is the medium of the traffic? Is it social and Facebook or social and TikTok? Like how is it getting there? And so you start to see something that you've never been able to see before, which is organic traffic coming to my product page, off-site media. I'm driving to that page, um, or sponsored search, sponsored display. So I can kind of start to break out all the ways uh, traffic is getting to my page and then how they're performing when they get there. So it really puts the brand in the driver's seat of how am I going to change my budget based on that information. So am I
Yeah.
going to spend more on sponsored search because I see it's high volume traffic, but also converting better than the other sources. So um, it really puts you in control of budget allocation across different platforms when you get access to that level of data. And you can also see things like have they abandoned, like where in the flow did they abandon my product?
Mhm.
So it's deep data that's available for every e-commerce provider on the internet coming to Walmart providers now as well. So
Yeah.
it really allows like traditional performance marketing to take place, which is I'm here to spend my budget as efficiently as possible to drive sales, which wasn't always the case in the past.
Super helpful at the world's largest retailer
Yeah,
to have
For
this
sure.
kind of perspective. Love seeing that come to life. It is a charter option. So if you're wondering where it is in yours and you're not paying for charter, you don't have it.
Yeah.
If you're paying for charter and you're not using it, you should be using it. Like that's
Absolutely.
a huge advantage, huge value.
Yeah,
I love obviously we care about data. We
a little bit.
have also a data nerd and really enjoy the power of data, less so, ones and zeros, so to speak, but, empowering decision making and just being able to see the things as they're happening, draw correlation. As you think of ShelfSight and you think about bringing decision making to the forefront across landing pages, PDPs, what are some of the decisions that people are going to change that motivated you to start this company?
Yeah, I think that budget allocation is the biggest one. We had clients coming to us all the time at previous agencies, and where do I spend my next dollar is the first question they'll ask. And a lot of times that's hard, especially with the visibility that we've had over the last several years. So I think that's probably the most interesting question to help answer for brands, and that digital landscapes is going to play a big part in that. Absent of that, I think just understanding where I sit on the digital shelf versus my competitors and how that's changing over time, and being able to articulate that to my buyer. So when they do come to me and say, "Hey, what are you doing from a digital standpoint?" I could say, "Well, here's
I
exactly what
used to
I'm
be
doing.
ranked something worse. Now I'm ranked.
My focus is on getting on the first page, and here's
Yeah.
how we delivered it, and here's how long it took, and here's what it looked like, and here's how we stack up against the competition." and why we have a right to win a larger share of that page. So I
Yeah.
think those are the two things that I think are real challenges that I'm excited about solving with that data.
You mentioned earlier the content creator program. Talk to us a little bit about that.
Yeah, so you see tests all the time on Walmart,
Mhm.
on the homepage, especially if you scroll down below the marketing modules at the top of the page.
The people paying attention to usage behavior online are confused by you. Because who scrolls down
Yeah, that's
all the
right.
way to
That's
the
right.
end? Who goes to page
Yeah.
16 in a search result? That's great. I
That's
love
why
it.
I get flagged as being a bot all the time
Yeah.
on Walmart. I press and hold the button.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's me.
It's funny.
Sorry, guys.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I think you're seeing that what Walmart lacks today is social proof, right? You see the rise of like TikTok shops and the
Mhm.
amount of volume that's getting
Yeah,
sold through
it's
those
enormous.
today. It's enormous, yeah. And so I think you see Walmart trying to do what they can to have a brand safe version of that. And I think that's a lot of the reason for their creator program. But you see it play out on, you'll find them doing A/B tests on you all the time on Walmart. The homepage is a great example. So vertical videos that feature products. So it's a creator doing it specifically for Walmart with a product from Walmart.
So
And
it's
it links to the product page. So it's a new way to shop on the site. Right?
So does the creator submit their thing, or are they already approved
So
to
it's
be on the site?
it's actually a program that you have to apply for.
Okay.
So you sign up to be a creator, and once you're approved, that's where I'm not really sure how it happens from there. Whether you receive a brief and you do the content, it looks like that's probably the case, or if you're just submitting content on your own. I think it's probably going to be a combination of those two. And
Yeah.
if I like look out a couple years from now, it'll probably be a sponsorship opportunity through Walmart Connect as well. So I have a sponsored, I'm doing a sponsored search campaign and a display campaign, and there's a creator program in there as well, where I'm showing up on the homepage and a creator's demonstrating my product.
Makes a ton of sense.
Yeah. And it's just that social proof piece that's been missing from Walmart for a while. So it's really cool to see. And like I said, I've seen it everywhere from the PDP to the homepage. And so it's interesting to kind of track that evolution.
What's the benefit of using that program versus brands going to their own influencer network?
I think it's getting on site.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you could go use any of the influencer marketing companies and do stuff and drive traffic to your owned website. But I think it's more of a walled garden when it comes to Walmart and social proof and social integrations. So I think they could totally do it and should be doing that for all sorts of different reasons. But I think working with the Walmart Creator Program is going to be a really powerful sponsorship opportunity for brands in the near future.
I love that. I like being able to dive into things that are going to help us grow rapidly in the future. What about right now? Things on your mind that people should be looking at to hack growth?
Yeah, I mean, I'm the AI guy right now. That's my favorite thing to be researching.
AI.
What's and a lot of yeah, exactly. A lot of it is just seeing the power of what it's able to unlock. As somebody with enough technical ability to talk to an engineer and write product requirements of I want this thing to do this, so that you really have a new superpower, which is I can go throw that into one of the large language models and get out code that actually works and I can run. And so I think that's something I'm excited about right now, just being able to automate tasks that used to take me a long time in the past, and seeing everything as an opportunity for automation. And then the future of that is just having, agents, right? So I have a handful of agents that are working on my behalf to solve kind of difficult problems or things that need some sort of decision making, but also are going to save me time, and I can kind of monitor the results. So just seeing the evolution of being able to like write code for myself and quickly make changes to that has been a really powerful thing. In terms of like hacks as it relates to Walmart, I think there's some really interesting opportunities on just the content side of things as well. So going back to A/B testing, instead of having my brand approve a title and description, why not send them 10 titles and descriptions to approve, and be able to test those things over time? Because I don't have to send that to a content team now. I can just write a prompt and get back multiple different versions of those things. Because the big failure in content is just the legal approvals that brands have to go through. And it's not a failure, it's just a roadblock, right? It's a roadblock to testing. And so I think having the ability to generate 10 new titles and descriptions and images. You even see Amazon coming out today, like with new image tools. So taking your product on a white background and generating content for you. So I think we'll
That's pretty powerful.
Continue to see the platforms build in that same level of not automation, but just generating new content for you on your behalf. And really, you're just an approver at that stage.
Yeah. What's your advice to companies when they come and ask the question about where do I spend my next dollar, and they've got a bias towards offsite media?
I think the internet has spoken and search dominates, right?
Yeah.
Like there is intent at that point. If you're typing in deodorant, you're looking for something, right?
Yeah.
And so I think that's we always go back to like this hierarchy of needs. So like the foundation is your landing page, in this case, the product page. Above that is search, right? And so you want to maximize the results you have on search before moving on to other things. If I was to go beyond search, I would start to look at on-site display, just because the targeting and the audience is there with Walmart. And then I would move to offsite. As we see more tracking open up for offsite traffic sent to Walmart, I will continue to spend money there. And that's just a data visibility thing. Today, seeing and tracking conversions from an Instagram ad to a Walmart cart is very difficult, especially for low price point items. Bag of chips or a thing of cereal, like it's very difficult to track that. If it's a TV and it's sitting in the cart for a long time and they make the purchase, it's a little bit easier to have that visibility. So that's why I can't say confidently go spend your money offsite, because I can't track the conversion all the way through. And that's the advantage Walmart has, and Walmart Connect knows they have that advantage today. And so we'll see how quickly they open up tools to track that offsite conversion. If they were to follow in the footsteps of Amazon, you would see Amazon has an attribution program where Amazon's basically like, yeah, you think you're better at driving traffic and converting?
Go for it.
Here's the URL with the tracking link in it, and go for it. See what you can do.
Their
on
sales
social.
pitch is that we can do this better than you.
You're gonna find more effective media through them, through their retailer network, than you will offsite.
Well, it's got to be true for that to be effective.
I think they just at this point they don't have to maximize their retail media network as much. Like they want traffic, and at the end of the day, like a retailer needs traffic, because they need each one of those eyeballs is another eyeball that I can show an ad to. So there's this kind of flywheel effect of, yes, I want to maximize my revenue of my on-site traffic, but I also need to add traffic. And so at some point, suppliers or vendors need to drive more to the store, or to their website.
I love a call out to Maslow. Love Maslow's hierarchy of needs.
Gotta have the hierarchy of needs.
Super helpful. So what would self-actualization be? The very tip top of the
I don't know.
of the pyramid? Okay, we stopped.
We haven't gotten there yet.
Just a ways up the pyramid. Anybody
probably
got
has something to do with AI.
It's
AI.
It's just the AI sitting at the top, making all decisions. You are removed from the loop.
I like it.
You can go drink your coffee in your shelter.
Yeah, at that point. I'm not sure what's being converted. AI took over.
It's being tracked.
That's great. Big mistakes you see people fall into. Mistakes along the way. Over passionate about pursuing a particular path. I love to hear some warning signs.
Yeah, my biggest watch out for suppliers is being reluctant to hop into retail media, because they feel like it is this a massive spend, right? Like I have to come in with a large budget, which is intimidating. And I think my recommendation is if I was launching a product at Walmart tomorrow, is just turn on the $50 a day automated campaign. just get the data flowing. You're not going to spend that $50 every day. That's like the threshold for a minimum budget, but you're not going to spend it every day. So the barrier to entry there is super low. And so I see a lot of people spend a lot of time thinking about the strategy instead of just diving
Instead of
in and
having
starting,
$50 a day
yeah,
deployed,
to just
learning nothing.
start to generate.
Yeah.
And the automated campaigns are pretty good. Like they're gonna, if you're a deodorant brand, they're gonna pick up all the right keywords and start running media for you. And you have at least that at that point, if you're going to somebody else to help them with your digital strategy, you have some data for them to look at.
Yeah.
And it doesn't take them 3 months
Right.
of hey, we're gonna do a trial period to figure out what's working and then reallocate budgets. Like you have some data to go off of. So that reluctance is probably my biggest watch out for
Yeah.
suppliers.
Failure to launch. I mean, as a data nerd, it's amazing how obvious certain moves are if you're paying attention to the data. If you haven't done anything, you have no data to collect. You have fear stopping you from making progress.
Yeah, and it's a beautiful thing to have self-service tools that are pretty powerful at your disposal with pretty low minimums. Like
Honestly,
even if you're just doing a couple week trial period, it makes sense to do.
There's we had a group here. We were talking through, the new no from a merchant is put it on marketplace, which to be fair is kind of a no, because it's like, hey, I can't actually put any of my resources behind it, but why don't you give it a try?
Sure.
Use your own resources and leverage marketplace. And sure, it's a no, but it's a really good platform. And there's a lot of opportunity for growth, and there's a lot of things you can do to learn about what customers actually want. You're going to learn how quickly and how easily you convert Walmart customers to your product. And so I've also seen the flip side of that no being turned into a giant yes, because you had tremendous growth online. Just takes an active stance.
Yeah.
And the platform is very equipped for the task. There's a lot of nuance, things that aren't intuitive. I'd love to hear some of the things from you. We work with several folks that do really well on Amazon, have been trying for a while on Walmart, and are just irritated and it's not working. And so they come to us and, okay, well, and we start fixing things for them. But I'd love to hear from you. Like, what are some of those, like, hey, I'm really an Amazon guy and I'm trying to figure out Walmart.
Yeah. I think just knowing where you have a right to win. So doing a little bit of research up front, see how competitive the current category you're trying to get into is. Just set expectations of what you think. If there's a lot of incumbents there spending a lot of money who've been there for a long time and have an established product, just knowing that up front is one of the big learnings. And then being able to tailor, a strategy to get there, even if there are those large incumbents. Maybe it's longer tail keywords. Maybe it's, bringing over more syndicated reviews so you look like a more established brand. But yeah, really being able to compare what's working to where you're at and kind of build a strategy to get there.
Yeah.
That's one of the newer innovations I've seen on the platform, is that you can now syndicate through whether it's Supplier One or Walmart.com.
Yeah, the reviews.
That's fairly new.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see where reviews go. I know the FTC had a recent ruling where they're kind of cracking down on false reviews, but I think, I think being able to syndicate those reviews from a Yapo, or if you're a large D2C brand, being able to bring those immediately to the marketplace is incredibly important to establish credibility with
and you're seeing a lot more direct-to-consumer brands coming to Walmart.
Yeah, absolutely.
And at a lot earlier stage than was true even 5 years ago.
Yeah, that's always a fun one to watch too, because the D2C brands have cut their teeth on performance marketing, right? Like that's what I live and die by. And so to see them come into the Walmart world and excel at retail media is really exciting. It's also at the same time, you see a very different path of how they spend their dollars versus a traditional brand. So a D2C company will continue to build awareness and drive traffic to their D2C site while being on the shelf at Walmart, because they've figured out how to do that and they can measure that. Now, as Walmart gives them more tools to do that on site, we might see a shift in that. But Squatch like Dr. Squatch is a great example of that. You still see their ads today, and they're driving to their D2C site, even though they're all over the shelf at Walmart. It's because they've built the machine to do that, and it works. And maybe the awareness is there, right? I see the ad, and then I see it on the shelf, and I'm pleasantly surprised, and I purchase it.
Well, I think there's a fear, at least in some, D2C companies, that, well, the more I grow my retail business, it's going to obviously it's going to offset my
some
D2C.
sort of cannibalization.
And I don't think, with the examples I've seen over the years, I don't think I've seen that.
Yeah.
I see it as a new consumer.
Yeah. I think so. I think the Walmart consumer is eager for those new brands to be there, and delighted when they see them on the shelf.
Yeah.
Now, I don't know if that's like survivorship bias, like just the big brands that the Native and Dr. Squashes of the world like deserve to be there. But yeah, I think it's an interesting time from an emerging brand standpoint at Walmart.
For sure. All right. Are we ready for lightning round?
I'm here for some lightning.
Okay.
I'll ask the first one. It's a zinger. Kind of, actually. Biggest failure in your retail journey?
Oh,
Looking for a story less shameful, more just like
something you learned from.
Yeah, I would say my biggest failure in my retail journey was early on in my career in sales. Just selling reusable pee pads, right? So 26 years old at the height of my career.
Kids or dogs?
Humans.
Oh.
Adult humans.
Oh, adults.
Incontinence.
Incontinence.
Yeah.
I mean, that's where I cut my teeth. Maybe I use a different analogy. First buying desk was incontinence.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's a growing category.
Yeah.
It's a beautiful thing.
It is.
But just having a failure to actually understand the market.
Yeah.
And just, you talk about going into a buyer's meeting and have no idea that I needed to prepare for it, but just fell flat on my face in that category.
Rough.
That was one of the big losers. Okay. Lightning round. I'll go quicker.
Oh, you're fine.
No, that's great.
Biggest learning this year?
Let's see. Biggest learning this year. I think my biggest learning is it probably continues to be like simplification. So just being able to, and I even catch myself talking about ShelfSight in a too complex of a manner.
Easy
so
to do.
I think simplification is still I'm going to keep that as the biggest learning going forward. It's just like break it down. I like to say, like, explain it like you're explaining it to a golden retriever. I think that's the nicest way to do it.
The golden retriever. Love a good golden retriever. Awesome. What are you reading?
Let's see. Right now, I am reading some World War II books.
Nice.
Yeah, that seems to be a genre I'm interested in at the moment. On Churchill.
Yeah. I had about 3 or 4 years where I think I read about every book I could find that was written in English on Churchill.
Yeah. So Churchill continues to be an inspiration. Just, man, what a backstage pass some of these books are on what he was going through, but also the leadership.
Yeah.
The leadership lessons that are in there, putting on a brave face despite everything crumbling around you.
Yeah.
Love that. For people who want to get a hold of ShelfSight, how do they find you?
Yeah, it's just shelfsight.co, or you can find me on LinkedIn, just Joe Murphy.
At Joe Murphy. And then the YouTube video, we'll link that for sure.
Gosh.
Of the electric
It's funny.
bike.
Funny. One last funny story is the only class I failed in my academic history was intro to engineering, electrical engineering.
Nice.
Yeah, and then I built an electric motorcycle that caught on fire. So,
Totally.
yeah.
Only caught on fire twice.
Yeah.
That seems like a pretty good record. They catch on fire every day. It seems
small
like
fires.
Small fires.
out in the world.
That's amazing.
Well, appreciate your time.
Yeah.
It was good talking to you today.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks for having me on, guys. I appreciate it.
Yeah.
Got it. And thank you for listening. As always, you can hear all of our episodes on our website, highimpactanalytics.com, or wherever you get your podcasts. Thank you for tuning in.